Hey there, my name is Kyle Horton. I'm coming to you today to have a conversation with Dear Princess and have you get to know a little bit about me and why I want to do this crazy work called being an assistant cruise director / DJ. But it comes with a disclaimer, and it is this. This is kind of a one-sided conversation, maybe an interview, a video cover page, but here's the deal. I am not here to sell you. I'm here to help you make an informed decision. That's because for the last couple of decades I've worked in sales, and I know one thing for sure, nobody wants to be sold. So during this conversation today, I'd like to help you make an informed decision. You may not like me, you may love me, but either way, at the end of this little chat together, you're gonna know me, and hopefully some of my personality will come through in the process. With that, I'm your host today. Let's get started. Right now I'm sitting in my car. Not a terrible life, sitting in my car with no top, but this is not my happy place. What I'd like to do today is to give you a tour of my happy place. Let's get started. I am chatting with you today from a little town called Greensboro, Georgia. It's in a city about 2 hours east of Atlanta, and I want to give you a tour today of my happy place, and it is here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my happy place. It is called Lake Oconee, and I love it. Now I could tell you about Lake Oconee, and I could express how much I love living here, but what makes more sense is that I show you. To do that, I'm going to take you for a small ride on my ship. I am the proud parent of a 23-foot deck boat. It is a Starcraft, and her name is Sharkbait. So I'm going to give you a tour. Whoa! Come back. I'm going to give you a tour of Lake Oconee. We'll talk a little bit about words like charisma. We'll talk about some famous people that I respect and admire. We'll talk about why me, why the music industry and how it's inspired me. And maybe, if you stick around to the end, you'll certainly know a little bit more about me, but I'm also going to share with you the world's most perfect joke. That's a pretty high bar, don't you think? Welcome to Lake Oconee. My name is Kyle Horton. Today I'll be your host as a tour guide on Lake Oconee, my happy place. So, maybe the most important question of the day, why me? And I think I can really sum it up for you. I am the captain of my own ship. This is my ship. I know that is the bow. That is port. That is starboard. And that's the stern. I am the captain, and I am sitting in the captain's chair. We have a hull down here. Our hull has no head. I just like saying that. And as captain, I'm sitting in the captain's chair, and I am chatting with you today from the bridge. Yes. Is there anything else you need to know? Oh, I guess there is. Let me dig a little deeper. The reason why I want to do this crazy work that maybe everybody that sees a cruise director from the outside looking in thinks it's easy, and that's how you know somebody is an expert. You know, the famous quote is, live life like a duck, calm, cool, collected on the surface, and you paddle like hell underneath. That's how you know an industry expert really at anything that they're doing. As a cruise director, I feel like you have to wear 100 different hats. For me, I started this work as a DJ when I was a kid, working parties for free, ultimately in high school getting paid for this work, in college a radio jock. After college I did some work as a wedding assistant, then I became a wedding professional, DJ, host, MC, and officiant. I do private parties from bar mitzvahs and bat mitzvahs to high school and middle school dances, and most recently I hosted a fundraiser. I was the auctioneer, and in 30 minutes we raised $96,000, and that was in March of this year. I'm also a lip sync expert. That's a real thing, because I get paid to coach people who know nothing about music how to have an exceptional experience at a lip sync contest. And you should also know, I'm a competitive storyteller. Very competitive, and I love to tell stories. Those things are all maybe just one part of me, but what makes it important is that it's all of me. I am what I call a surgical generalist. I am surgically good and an expert at multiple different versions of entertainment. My wife likes to call me a shapeshifter. That's less professional, but still true. I can, on a Friday night, I can host a middle school dance, and we can drop a little Lizzo, Kenny Loggins, and maybe even some Bruno Mars, and the next day host and DJ a birthday party slash vow renewal for a couple in their 80s. And during that event, at the right time, at the right moment, we will play a little Kingston Trio, John Denver, and maybe a little Four Tops. All of that can happen within 48 hours. And it's what makes me unique. I am able to move between multiple genres and multiple generations. Many people in my industry have very little respect for people who can do a lot of different things because you're not a specialist. And I would argue I'm a specialist at being a generalist. It ain't sexy, but it's true. So when I think about the things it takes to do this job well, obviously we talk about words like chemistry or charisma. Now for me, charisma is a word that just is a kind of a euphemism for talent. People are born with talent, but it's really not enough. In my mind, to be successful in this world, you need more than talent. You need the effort, you need training, and you got to act like a professional. When I first bought this business 5 years ago, I was charging $600 for an event. My most recent event, I charged $7,000 for a wedding, all in. But here's the deal. It's not the $7,000 that's important, it's how I got there. I know that this is actual work. Between $15,000 and $20,000 a year I spend out of pocket in training, working with mentors, industry professionals, going to conferences and workshops. I put in the work, I put in the effort. I'm a good teacher, I can hire, I can work with people whose interests at an event are not equally aligned to my own or to the client. I'm good at collaborating. I'm a professional that knows how to use talent and sprinkle in a ton of hard work. For me, charisma means things like when a party's going full tilt, you know how to bring it down without upsetting your guests. It is the ability to be playful without being a clown. It's the ability to be childlike without being childish. To be elegant without being stuffy. To be playful, or rather to be confident without being arrogant. All of these things are important collectively, and I think that's how I define charisma or chemistry in my professional life. In the music industry, I need to pick one person that inspires me above all. When I think singer, songwriter, entertainer, I think maybe for singers, maybe Celine, maybe Michael Bublé or Chris Martin. Songwriters, I don't know, Ed Sheeran, Billy Joel, or maybe Taylor Swift, or performers, I think Elton John, that's easy, Lady Gaga, best Super Bowl halftime performance ever, and I cannot mention Prince as an expert entertainer. about their talent, or singing or songwriting, or what they can do on stage. It's about their caring. This artist, for me, is who I try to emulate during a live performance. For me, Garth Brooks. Garth Brooks says publicly, maybe even shamelessly, that when he's performing, it's not his guests on the front row that he is targeting. They're going to have a good time if he brings an average performance. It's not the people on the front row, it's the people on the back row. The people who dropped 2 weeks' pay so that they can have a seat in the upper deck and the cheap seats. His goal is to create an extraordinary experience for the folks in the back and the cheap seats. To do that, he has to be better than average. He has to be extraordinary. But to do that, he has to care. And that's me. I think no one can touch my caring. And in a performance, I can reach the person in the back row. Not just I can do it, I'm good at it. There are 3 people I want to mention. If you want to maybe think about how does one summarize who this guy is on this call today, and I would ask you to think about 3 people. Number 1, Will Ferrell. Number 2, Tom Bergeron, and number 3, of course, Garth Brooks. I think Kyle Horton. I think Will Ferrell is my kind of funny, my kind of sweet, my kind of playful. In every single way, except when, in order to get the laugh, he's got to disrobe and go streaking out in public. My commitment to you is I will never go streaking on the boat. Ever. We just eliminated that concern. As a host, I can't imagine anybody better than Tom Bergeron. When he was on America's Funniest Videos or working on Dancing with the Stars, he is the right kind of funny, self-deprecating, a professional that can keep the event moving along beautifully. And he is an industry pro. It's my kind of host. And then there's Garth Brooks. We talked about his caring. That's my kind of caring and my kind of commitment to performance. Lastly, I want to share with you a quote that has inspired me over the last decade by Randy Pausch. Randy famously gave a lecture as a college professor from Carnegie Mellon called The Last Lecture. A year later, he wrote a book by the same name. Randy was diagnosed with a terminal illness, pancreatic cancer, when he wrote the book. The man knows how to live life to the fullest and to be happy. And people ask him all the time, what's the secret? And essentially he says, in life, you have to make a choice. You just have to decide. Are you a Tigger or are you an Eeyore? I'd like to tell you that I made a choice to be Tigger, but that would not be true because there was no choice. I was born shot out of a cannon. The only thing I lack is the black and orange stripes that go with it. So yeah, I am 100% Tigger 100% of the time. It helps doing the work that we do. So, we talked a little bit about a word called charisma. We talked about a few famous people. We talked about why I want to do this work. We talked about the music industry. And we gave you a quote that inspires me. I hope you've enjoyed this time together. I hope you'll consider me for the role of assistant cruise director / DJ. I appreciate taking the time. Have a great day. Take care. All right. Turn this off. How do I? It's over now. How do I turn this thing off? Let's see. I'm kidding. You stuck around. It's time for your joke. You ready? Kyle. Yeah, Kyle. What's that? What kind of a zoo has no animals in it? I don't know, Kyle. What kind of a zoo has no animals in it? a Shih Tzu. The perfect joke. Not because everybody's laughing, but if you're the one telling that joke, you're guaranteed to laugh and enjoy it. Thanks again for taking the time. We'll talk to you again soon. TTFN.